Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. In today's video, what I wanted to do is talk about a concept that I think is extremely important, in particular if you are in commercial real estate brokerage, and that is how do you build an online presence that will essentially enable you to capture market share over time. So in today's video, I'm going to share 3 key strategies that you can employ to be able to help build your market share in whatever market you're in, based on improving your online presence. So before we dive into this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to this channel. It really does make a difference in the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now you've done that, go ahead and like and subscribe below. Let's go ahead and dive into this episode. All right. So as far as building an online presence, the reason why I think it's so important is because most commercial agents don't focus on it. In fact, many of the times, if you were to search for top commercial agents in your market, I would wager to say that the amount of reviews they have online, the amount of things that they've actually put online is probably pretty slim. I know here in the Louisville metro area that I'm located in, that's the case. I'm sure in other markets that is also the case. So it is kind of uncharted waters, or blue oceans, as they say, when you reference the blue ocean strategy book. So as far as building online presence, I think one of the main things you can do is number one strategy is to generate reviews, or Google reviews. As we know, Google is a powerful search engine. It's not the number one search engine in the world. And most people, when they look for stuff, they go online to Google to actually search for it. So one of the things you want to be able to do is make sure that your Google My Business profile is set up. And then from there, start asking your past clients to leave reviews about their experiences. Every time that I work with a client, once I go to get to the finish line, I usually ask them if they'd be willing to leave an honest review about their experiences with me. And oftentimes they're willing to do so, especially if you've done a really good job for them, because they understand as entrepreneurs that it's important to be able to showcase on Google and showcase to the world that you yourself know what you're doing. And so one of the things that I would highly recommend you do, if you haven't already, is to reach out to some of your past clients and just have conversations with them, check in on them, and then see if they'd be willing to leave a Google review for you, because it really does make a huge impact. Along with that, if you every single time that you work with a client and you get them to the finish line, obviously, thank them for the experience. And also, and I'm a big fan of providing gifts as far as just getting them to the getting to either the closing table or finishing up a lease to showcase my appreciation for the client. And then from there, maybe ask to see if they'd be willing to leave you a review, because most of the time, I guarantee you they're willing to do so. And just follow up periodically if they haven't done so yet. Just kind of say, hey, hope you're doing well. If you don't mind, I would really appreciate if you could leave a review, because it does really make a big difference in my ability to reach a broader audience and hopefully generate more business in the future. And oftentimes, again, they'd be willing to do so. So that's number one, is to focus on getting Google reviews, because it does make a huge impact in the search engine optimization and all the things related to your online presence. Number two is to just start getting content out there, right? And there's different facets of exploring content. Obviously, there's blog posts, there's videos, there's, I'm trying to think of other forms of content that you could create. I mean, events, you put on live events or something like along those lines. So there's a variety of different avenues that you can explore. The biggest thing about creating content and distributing it online is the consistency. You have to be able to do so on a regular basis. For example, this web series that I put on, it's not really a web series, but it's just me creating videos on a weekly basis where I answer commercial real estate questions. That in and of itself, we've been doing for over 2 years now, or 2.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And we put out hundreds of different videos online. And you better believe that when people search my name online, a lot of these videos are going to show up. And, after 2, 3, 4 videos that they've watched, their connection with me is a lot different than if they didn't see anything about me online during their search, and then we meet for the first time in person. It makes a big difference in their building that trust early on, even before you physically meet someone. So my advice to you, if you are in the commercial real estate brokerage space, is to start creating content. Create blog posts. I release a weekly blog post. Create videos. I release weekly videos. I also put on virtual live events that we distribute in a podcast format, and other things. If you have a podcast idea, explore it. Consider creating a podcast and doing like weekly episodes where you interview people in the business space. It could be very, very beneficial for a variety of reasons, but primarily building your online presence. So that's number two, is to consider creating content and be consistent about it. Usually I recommend once a week, but if that's too much of a commitment for you, do once every other week. But all that matters is you do it consistently, and over time you'll improve, and hopefully that presence will also be established for you in your market. And then finally, number 3 thing that I would recommend is getting on podcasts and getting on interview shows with people. I've done so in a variety of different capacities. Oftentimes what ends up happening is I actually strategically reach out to people that I think have an audience that could potentially be beneficial for me to get in front of. And so I'll, create a list of all these different podcast hosts and then just have myself or my virtual assistant reach out to them to try to generate interest in potentially having me on their show. A lot of times along with that is if I interview someone who has a podcast, either on some of my podcasts or live web series, sometimes we do like a podcast exchange where, I interview on your podcast and then you have me on your show to be able to kind of amplify the reach of your message from a variety of different audiences. And so that's my recommendation for number 3 is that if you already have a podcast medium and you interview people that have podcasts, consider requesting, seeing if there'd be any corollary with maybe having you on their show. And then along with that, if you want to be on other people's shows, you just got to reach out and just kind of build those relationships and try to see if there's opportunities and synergies between their audience and ultimately your audience as well. And over time, you start getting a big repertoire of people who ultimately will be, on your podcast and potentially you yourself on theirs. So hopefully you gain some value from this video. I think if you follow these strategies over a period of time, this is not a get rich quick idea, but if you do this over a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year period, you'll capture massive market share in your market because I guarantee you that the competition is not going to be doing it as consistently as you are if you really do commit to it. So hopefully you gain some value from this video. If you like these types of this type of content, please like and subscribe. It does make a huge impact on our ability to reach a broader audience. Along with that, if you yourself are looking to buy, sell, or lease commercial property here in the Louisville metro area, I'd be happy to help you on your search. I'm a commercial real estate agent here in town. Feel free to reach out to me at 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at raphael@group.com. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.